Hey guys, so I don't know how much time I actually have. I have 10 minutes until I go into work, but this is not a very private place. But I just got a thought. I was listening to a girl talk about how she was in abusive relationships and the things that this guy made her do or talked her into, coerced or whatever. And one of them was about weight loss. And she's a very pretty girl, very beautiful. I mean, I wouldn't change anything, but this guy apparently wanted her to be skinnier. And it made me think of, I don't know if I was married yet or if I was engaged. My engagement was very short. It is corrupt from the beginning, and just a very hard lesson I had to learn. But I left one relationship and entered another very quickly. Met this guy in a bar, and he was very attractive and very alluring, and my relationship at the time was kind of going through some things, and a lot of it was just immaturity and not putting enough effort into the relationship I had. But so anyways, got with this guy, completely trashed my life. It completely uprooted my daughter from her father's life. Like, just thinking about it now is just so ridiculous, and I'm ashamed of it. But what happened in the marriage, just in and around the marriage itself and trying to get out of the marriage, is what has forced me to write. And I've written a bunch of pieces of things I've gone through or remembered, or maybe I blocked out. But one of those things was, I was driving to work. I know specifically, I was driving in my car to work one day, and it was before I had relocated when I got married. So from Cleveland, Ohio. He was from Columbus, Ohio, so it was a couple hours away. And the whole time just commuting back and forth, very difficult. Even though it was 2 hours, it was still a lot. So I was driving to work. I had talked to him a lot on my way to work sometimes. And one of his comments to me was about how my physique, I guess, my body. And he would say, God, you're the biggest girl I've ever been with. And at that time, I was probably 30 pounds less than I am now, okay? Which I think if I lost 30 pounds right now, I would look ridiculous. But I was 30 pounds less then. That was before I got pregnant, before I had his kid, before we had our daughter. And he said that to me, and it was like, I think I ignored a couple comments. Like, they stuck with me, they bothered me, they irritated me, It's like when you're around something evil and somebody says or does something or treats you a certain way, and you just kind of like, ooh, like a thorn just pricked you, or, you felt a little sting, a little burn. And that was one of those jabs. And that's when I should have stopped, and I shouldn't have married him, because it just got worse. It got worse when I got pregnant, because he wouldn't let me wear certain things. He didn't want me to go to the swimming pool with the kids in him and be seen in anything that would show off my belly. His ex would come around and make comments about me. I was just a pregnant woman. I wasn't like ridiculous, but it was just, it shows me the hate of people. And when you're an attractive person, when you've always been an attractive person, and you get with someone who you may be attracted to, you may love them, you may like the way they look, but just to always keep that upper hand, you've got to tear them down a little bit at a time. Just keep them in their place and let them know, never let them forget that you're above them, that you're more beautiful and more perfect and a catch, And I see that with a lot of guys, God rest his soul, even my ex. Guys will say funny things in the beginning of relationships in that talking phase, and they'll say, I could have dated this person. Well, this person was giving me energy. Well, that person, I actually, ran into both of you guys at the same time, and I, you got me, so, you got the prize. And it's just like, God, I don't remember ever saying that to a guy, you know? It's just like you always have to show that you're a catch, that you're the prize. And I think I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't give a fuck, number one, how good you think you are, or how much you think you're doing for me, or, you know, any of that shit. But I'm gonna write the fuck out of my story. I promise that. I promised myself that. I am going to write about every guy that ever hurt me, every guy that ever lied to me, every horrible pickup line, everybody that ever made me do something to myself to lessen myself. That voice is coming out. That one thing that this girl said today, and it was actually one of my tarot readers on YouTube, she just hits a nerve every time, and it's a good nerve because it makes me think and remember things that I need to. And it makes me realize that well, kind of solidifies my purpose right now as far as writing. Everything horrible that anyone's done to me, mostly guys, any life-changing event or horrible memory, something I've repressed, is all coming to the surface. And I don't care who you are, because you know what you did. And all these pieces of these stories in my entire relationship and marriage is going to be out there, because this guy continues to live a life and doesn't take care of our daughter, and still, unfortunately, like, has a little piece of me, but it's an anger. It's anger and regret and shame. And I'm working on all of those things. And part of me writing and speaking about it is acknowledging it, overcoming it, and looking at it from a different angle. And this is 19 years later from when I met him, this one particular person. And he's a piece of shit. But that'll be in the book.